to episode 19 of the Zazu podcast. My name is Carolien, for those of you who need a reminder, because I've been away for a very long time. More about that later. You can find me on Instagram as wool_box. I needed to think about that. You can also find me on Ravelry as woolbox, and you can find my Etsy shop with all of these nice hand-dyed yarns on Etsy, which is Zazu Yarns. Obviously I need to explain why I've been away so long, because last time I recorded or uploaded a video, it was December 23rd, 2015. So that's been a long while. But before that, you might notice things are different here. The first thing that's different is the background. That is because we moved. And the background will probably change again. But I will tell you more about that later. No, I'll just tell you. I'm sitting in our bedroom because our next door neighbor, her son, who just turned 18, bought himself a car and thinks it's necessary to do stuff in his car in front of our house the whole day, which means he makes noise, and so I was annoyed, hormones, so I thought I will just go here in the back of the house. Next to that, you might see that my appearance is a little bit different. We are not going to discuss that very long, but as you might remember if you saw my previous episodes, I'm pregnant still, and some pregnant women just look great, and some pregnant women gain weight, and that's just the way it is. So that's why I look the way I do. So don't go back and watch the previous episode to check on the difference, because that will be not nice. So just don't do that. And because I thought, well, let's make myself as wide as possible, I thought it would be a good idea to wear these horizontal stripes. What was I thinking? But what can you do? If you're wondering why I'm looking down all the time, that's because the camera is separate from my laptop, so I have my MacBook on my lap and laptop. Okay, that's totally lame. And I have my camera separate. So I'm looking down to what I might call show notes, so I remember to tell you everything I want to talk about. Before I tell you what happened actually in the months I was gone, and I will try to keep that as short as possible. I do want to say a big thank you to everyone who messaged me and checked up on me and asked me, hey, we miss you, when are you coming back? Well, I really liked getting those messages, and actually I tried to record a few weeks ago, and I did record, but I have been having a lot of trouble with iMovie and editing and stuff, so I just want to get this one out. So if you didn't see an intro thing at the beginning of this video, that's just because I totally dismissed iMovie and just didn't edit this video. But hopefully iMovie worked again, and I could upload this the way I wanted to, or I want to. So that's that. Then I do want to say a really big thank you to Janine and Jocelyn, who sent me really nice Christmas mail. Janine sent me a really nice letter, which I love because, come on, who wouldn't want a nice letter, right? And Jocelyn sent me 2 cards, one from her hometown and one, or her state actually, and one Christmas card with a lot of really nice glitter on it. So thank you very much, Jocelyn and Janine. And then another thing, I've been really bad, I know, and before I do this again, I will make sure I can be good about it, because I announced a knit-along right before I stopped podcasting, actually, somewhere in December, for my first shawl design, the tulip fields shawl. And then I was just gone from YouTube and the internet and whatever. So I don't blame you for not joining or not finishing or whatever, but there are actually 2 people that joined the CAL and finished their finished projects, or finished their shawls and put them in the finished project thread on Ravelry. Wow, the talking goes really well. And that's Nadia, LA87, and I'm just going to mention their Ravelry names, and Chaos in Wonderland. So those 2 actually finished the shawl while there was not really anything going on. I didn't even cast it on, which is really bad. So because they were so brave, I am going to think of something to give them and to, I don't know, cheer for them a little bit, because I think it was a really brave thing to do, because there was no one doing anything. So, really good. I do want to say, I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to think of it, of something. So, you guys will get something. Yes. Then I can move on to what's been going on, and I'm going to try to keep this a little bit short. If you have questions, you can just ask me. So, what I said last time I recorded was December 23rd, or uploaded. At the beginning of January, we got the key to our new house, which we bought, as you might know. And on that same day, I was fired from my job, or at least they didn't, I think you say, prolong the contract, which was supposed to end in April. And I'm not going to talk about this really long because I don't want to waste any energy on this, but the minute I told them I was pregnant, they wanted to discuss my contract. That's actually what it is. So I was kind of expecting it, but it's, well, I think you guys know what I think about that. But let's move on to happier stuff. So we got the key to our house and we started demolishing everything we could get rid of. And the whole place was chaos. It was one big dusty, I don't know. It was a big mess. And we planned on moving here by the end of January, which obviously was a little bit of a problem because it was not finished by then, which we expected because that was not doable within a month. So we actually lived in our bedroom for 1.5 months, almost 2 months. We didn't have a kitchen. So we had a microwave and a small portable oven. So that's what that's where we prepared our meals in. So one day pizza and another day salad and then another day something you could heat up. It's what you do. Doesn't really matter. But it's all finished now. Well, the house isn't really totally finished, but compared to then, a lot has happened. They still need to do some tiling in the hallway, where we don't have a floor right now, and some finishing in the kitchen, and some other detail stuff. But we have our new floor, we have our new kitchen, which is amazing, and we finished the painting. Well, we didn't do the wood work, but we did do the walls and stuff, and it just looks good, so I'm happy. I'm already 32 weeks in my pregnancy right now, so I told Seep, who's my boyfriend, that there are no new house projects being started anymore. I want it to be clean, finished, and I want all the workers out and all the baby stuff in, and I just want to make sure that when I wash stuff like the curtains and hang them, that I don't have to do that all over again because someone thought it was a nice idea to bring a saw inside and start making a mess again. So we agree upon that. So we're finishing the things we need to finish right now, and maybe we'll do some other new stuff next year or whatever, like people do when they buy their house, right? You don't have a budget to do everything all at once. I have been home from work since, well, a little bit before April, and as I already said, my contract ended in April, but I had to stop a little bit early because I have these pelvic instability issues, if that's how you call it in English. I thought it was the right terminology, so you know what I mean. I just cannot walk long distances, and that's actually gotten worse, and I think it's going to be worse every week. So I now can walk for like 500 meters, and every step hurts, period. But when I walk longer distances, or you can't even call that a long distance, but not in the house, but when I go somewhere, the pain gets worse, up until the point where it's not possible for me to walk anymore, so I'm just standing and telling myself, how the hell am I going to get away from this place again? Which has happened a few times now, and so I just don't walk like I used to anymore, which is a pain in the because I love walking, and I love, especially now when spring is showing its face finally, I love to just walk around and walk through to the city center and just shop a little for the baby and just enjoy being outside, but it's just not possible. Tomorrow we're actually leaving for Berlin. My brother lives there, and we planned on having a last romantic getaway. So we actually have to bring a wheelchair to make sure we can enjoy our weekend, which is kind of a thing for me because I think it's really weird to not being able to walk like a normal person can. I mean, I think it's just really weird, but I just try to focus on something else because it's just the way it is, and I just have to give birth, and then hopefully it'll get better. And since I'm already 32 weeks, I just have to... The countdown has begun, at least. I think it has begun. And actually every week goes by really fast, so I shouldn't be complaining. I mean, there are a lot of women that would love to get pregnant and just can't, and have years and years of misery and pain and, you know, and never experience what I experience. So I shouldn't complain. Although it's just not what I thought it would be, because normally when spring is here and the weather gets better and the sun is out, you see all these happy women, or you notice the pregnant women better, I think, because everyone starts taking their coats off and stuff, and they always look so alive and good, and like, I don't know. I just thought that when I would be pregnant, that it would be like that, which is a total stupid thing to think, because there are so many women that don't experience that, and actually the women you see might not be experiencing that themselves. So it's just some weird idea of how I at least saw these women. So no, I am aware of the fact that, at least for me, all the sexiness of being a woman has left, or actually it didn't move with me to this house. The things that happen, I mean, let's not talk about this for too long, but peeing your pants all of a sudden because you have to sneeze or cough, what on earth is that? I mean, that's not really charming. Like going for an ice cream with your boyfriend and then having to sneeze and then looking at him and he's like, why are you looking at me that funny? And I'll be like, honey, we have to go back home because my pants are wet. It's not, I mean, I don't know. I could think of wearing high heels and putting on makeup, but it's not going to solve the problem because I walk like, I think a seal walks sexier than I do, so I think it's just, I just have to sit it out. And I do think that him seeing me like this for all these months, maybe, or at least I hope, that he will find me extra feminine when I get back on my feet again. Let's just hope so. Cross the fingers, because I just don't know. I just feel like, I don't even feel like a guy. I feel like an elephant. Something like that. Although they can be gracious and I'm not. But whatever. Let's not talk about this too long. But you get my point. I'm sure there are people watching this and think, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. So that's just it. Then I'm just going to talk about knitting. If I forget stuff, that's because I forget everything since I'm pregnant. So just ask me on either Instagram or on Ravelry or in the Ravelry group. You can message me or put a question under this video on YouTube. Just do so, because I forget stuff and I really don't remember it anymore once I forget it. So that's why my bike got stolen, because I forgot to lock it. I might already told you this, but I forgot. So, let's just start by showing you my whips. So the first one I'm going to grab, I'm just going to do this random. And the first one I'm grabbing is obviously a total mess, but this is the first thing, and I might be looking down because the viewer, or the, how do you call that, the screen viewer or the camera viewer, I don't know, is on my laptop, so I want to make sure you can see this properly. This first one, I should actually hold it like this, because this is a sweater for Siep, my boyfriend, which I mentioned 1,000 times already in this episode. And I just started it, as you can see. I am using the pattern, what is the pattern called? Anything for Love by Justina Lorkowska. Anything for Love. It's a free pattern, and I just thought it looked nice. The pattern doesn't have like these overview finished pictures, but I thought the beginning looked good on the mannequin model thing. So I'm using this pattern, and as you can see, I'm doing some short row shaping for the back, because this side, as you can see, is a little longer than what you can see is this side. And obviously this is the collar, it's knit top down. The only thing the thing I changed, oh, and I see I did a purl here where I should have done a knit. See that? That is not nice. Well, he will not notice that, and I'm not ripping back, or I might rip back that one stitch. Whatever. I did a tubular cast on because I wanted to try that, and I did that with the waste yarn way that Very Pink Knits shows you how to do. I just did it a little, no, did I do it her way? I think I did. I'm not sure anymore. Sorry, I have to check my notes on this. So if I remember, I will tell you next time, and otherwise just message me and I will tell you. And the other thing I changed is that I'm doing a reversed knit section, as you can see, on the arms. So these markers here mark the beginning of the arm, or actually still the shoulder. So the beginning of the sleeve, I must say. And this is a reversed knit. How do you say that? A reversed, well, a section that goes all the way. I want to knit this all the way down to the wrist. How do you call this? Another word I lost. Maybe it pops back in my head and maybe it doesn't. Which I actually kind of stole a little bit from a pattern by Tin Can Knits. They have the, what is it called? I think it's the Flex pullover. Yes, flex pullover, Flax pullover, and they have something similar like that. The only thing is that it's garter stitch in their sweater, and I like this better because I think it just looks a little bit more fine or something like that. The needles I'm using are Knit Pro carbons, and I just don't know what size. I thought it was a 3mm. I think it is, and I do not have a checker here, I think. No, so I think it's a 3mm, but you will see this project next time as well, because I will not finish this very soon. So I will check it then. It doesn't say so on the needles anymore. It did say so, but it's, as you can see, it came off. See that little white thing here? That's where it was. The yarn I'm using, and this ball is totally, it's a total mess. The yarn I'm using is Drops Merino Extra Fine Mix, and I hope you can read this. And it's 100% superwash merino, and it's it says for needle number 4, but they also, the shop where I bought it recommends using a smaller size needle because it's pretty squishy, and you can see that it looks pretty big, but if you do this it gets narrower, so if you want a nice gauge you should, and it obviously grows after blocking it, so I thought let's go down. The color I'm using is number 5, and well, nothing else to tell you about this, I guess. I think I bought like 16 balls of it, or maybe 18 balls of it, so I should be having enough to make this sweater. So that's that. Then I started something really fun, because you will not believe this if you know me. I already told you that I'm really bad at knitting socks, or at least I like that, but I never finished the second one. So I have a real thing with second sock syndrome. Well, I kind of thought, where does this come from? And I think I found the reason why that happens. And the reason is that I didn't find a heel I could knit mindlessly, so I tried the standard, how do you say that, heel, with that, you know, with the gusset and the reinforced heel with the gusset, and then the picking up stitches and stuff like that. And I have to make notes on the first sock to make sure the second sock is the same as the first sock. But since I have to make notes, I just don't finish, or at least I think it's less mindless, because after knitting the cuff and the leg of the sock, I need to focus on the notes and the knitting, which means that if I want to take something like that in the car with me, for which I think sock knitting is perfect, it would be too fumbly, I think. I don't know why, but I just want to make sure that I can knit socks without having to take notes, just being able to count and memorize maybe one number in my head or whatever. So I thought I just want to learn to do a short row heel without the fuss, and without holes, because everyone can do a short row heel, but the first times I did that, I always get a hole. Well, I just found it, I guess. And I'm just using German short rows, so no wraps and turns and stuff like that. Just German short rows, which is super easy. And I just memorized what I do, or at least I just do what I think is logic, and then you can memorize it really easily and do that for every sock. At least for every sock you're knitting for yourself, in a size you know. So, because I managed to do that, I thought, let's join a sock knitting cal. And because I know that Kristen from Yarngasm podcast is hosting one this year, it's an entire year knit along, I thought I'm going to join that. And it's the Box of Socks cal, and the idea is that you at least knit 12 pairs of socks in 1 year and put them in a box. So I bought a box. I bought this box, a nice blue one. It's from IKEA, really cheap. But what I really liked about it is that it has these 12, how do you call that? 12, not pockets, but I don't know, 12 spaces for socks. So I can see really easily how many I still need to make. So it's empty, as you can see. Come on, don't expect too much from me. But I did start knitting on socks. So the first one, or the first pair I'm knitting on, oops, is this, which I'm calling my, oh my god, it's my unicorn poo socks, because this is made out of my own hand-dyed yarn in the unicorn poo colorway. So, and the color is not really coming out great, but I can't help that. It's a little bit more vibrant than you can see on screen. And this is the heel, which I think looks just fine. Might not be the most pretty heel ever, but it fits fine, and it works really fast. I can knit that really fast without thinking about it. So, works like a charm. I use 1x1 rib, a twisted rib, and I use needle size 2.5 millimeter by Knit Pro. And I'm going to show you the second sock, because I already started that. Which is this. And I haven't done a lot on this one, but nice to bring in the car to Berlin with me tomorrow. I hope I'm going to be able to finish it, because this is what is left yarn wise, so that's going to be really, I don't know. So that's the first pair. Let's hope we just finish them. And then the second pair, I thought, let's do something I see all the time but never do, and that is use contrasting colors for the heels and toes. So this is the second one, second pair. I did a little bit of a longer cuff here, also twisted rib 1x1, because that's what I like best. I think that's just looks good. And contrasting heel and toe. And the yarn I'm using, I did not bring a ball band, but it's Drops Fable, and so I don't know the color number, but it's just the plain, simple white one and the reddish one. I don't know, the burgundy. It looks burgundy a little. You'll be able to find that. And again, the heel, which I think looks just fine. The second sock, I'm also working on that. I'm not sure, but I think I just finished the ribbing. And you might think, why on earth did she cast on 2 pairs of socks while the first pair is not finished yet? Well, that's because I'm the way I am. If you saw my previous episodes, you know that I just can't work on one thing. So I always have way too many projects on the needles. That's just who I am. So that's the second pair, and that's actually it for socks right now. So I think I'm going to bring those in the car with me to Berlin, and I need to try to sit a little bit different now because my behind is hurting a little bit. Let's see, if I don't manage to do this at once, I will just pause. Then, what am I working on? Obviously, I'm knitting for the baby. Scoop, because I didn't tell you this, but we are having a baby boy. Yay! So, once I knew that, I could obviously start knitting for him. So I did. So the first thing I casted on was this. It's a sweater, and it's not finished yet. And I don't know what pattern I use. I do know, but I don't know. I'm going to tell you this next time. It still needs button bands here, so I have to pick up stitches here on either side. And obviously it needs sleeves. And right now the sleeves are on these stitch holders, but the rest has been knit. And I'm knitting this out of my own yarn, Zazu yarns, in the 50 Shades of Brown colorway, because I think it's a color that goes well with everything, and I like a little bit toned down clothes for babies. So not too bright colors, just maybe accents of bright colors, but like these neutrals for the rest, or pastels, but not too bright. So that's that. I don't know what needles I used, because obviously I already cast off the bottom, and I put away the needles, and I just don't know anymore. So I'm going to have to check my notes, which I don't have here. So that is also something I will try to remember to tell you next time. So that's that. Then, yes, there was something else. I casted on. You guys might think I am totally losing my mind, because A, I do not talk like I normally do, or at least, well, and B, there are so many projects I'm showing you and so many whips you must be thinking I am totally weird. And you would be correct. So, yay! I don't have a prize for those who thought that and were correct, but you are. I'm trying to untangle this thing. So, I casted on the hoodie shawl cardigan, and I was actually inspired to cast this on by Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast, and this is what I've done. Yes, this is the front, that's the back, and I'm using my own hand-dyed yarn for this. So the bottom part is roses and wine, then the brownish, gray brownish stripes in here is again the 50 Shades of Brown colorway, and the purple is a one of a kind. But I'm going to rip this out. Why? Well, A, because I don't know if I like the color combo like this. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I'm not sure, but the main reason is because I made a really big mistake. In the pattern, it says something like repeat row 1 and 2 or something like that for another. It's a good word. It should read stuff really carefully. So it says repeat row 1 and 2 or whatever for another 13 times, something like that. What I did was just repeat it 13 times total and then started the other side. While it should have been 14, or I don't know what the number was, but you get what I mean. And the only way to fix that is rip back all the way to the point where I made the mistake, and since that is kind of far back and I wasn't really sure about the colors anyway, I'm just going to rip it out, and I think I am going to knit another cardigan from the Roses and Wine colorway, and that is, and now I forget it, I'm actually looking at the cardigan, but I don't remember the name. It is the Featherweight cardigan. Hello, hi, by Hannah Fettig, and I actually have the book here. So that's this cardigan. So I might do that. Although I do think that I will put that away for a while and finish all the other stuff first. Because if I look at it, I'm not even going to change the camera and show you what's here. But it's a lot. Then, and I was knitting that on the wooden needles by Knit Pro, and I don't know the size, I think it was 4mm. Then it doesn't really matter actually, because I'm going to rip it out. So just do whatever you want if you want to knit that. I do want to knit another one someday, but not right now. And since I already told you I only have 8 weeks left, and maybe if the baby comes earlier, I will only have 8 or 6 weeks left, which is possible. Especially because last time I had an ultrasound, which was at the 30-week mark, they said that the baby's head and the baby's tummy were ahead of, how do you say that? I don't know, but I'm going to try to explain. Ahead of what should be normal for that amount of weeks in the pregnancy, by 2 weeks and 4 days, which is a lot, I think. I mean, that means that the baby's head and the baby's belly were almost, well, were 2.5 weeks bigger than they should have been at the 30-week mark. So he was actually at the size of a baby of 32 weeks and 4 days. And I don't mind being that the baby is bigger, but let it be his feet or something I can poo out really easily, right? But no, my baby decides that if it was to have something bigger than normal, it should be his head. Because head first, I want to just really piss off my mom, even before I can really do that. Well, we just have to see how that goes. Maybe the head will stop growing or something. I don't know. But the woman doing the ultrasound said, "Are big heads running in your family?" And I was like, does my head really look that big? I mean, yes, I've gained a little weight, but does it look like I'm, is this a really big head? And I looked at Seep, and he looked at me like, hell no, I don't have a big head. Come on, you are not looking at me. Well, whatever, we'll just see. I'm really curious. It does make me extra curious on what the baby is going to look like, or what it looks like. We don't know. I did not do the 3D ultrasound thing, so we just have to wait. Next project, guys. Next project is what I already said, flex sweater for myself. Yay! Oops. This is where I am. So it's also a top-down sweater, and I'm using this crazy yarn, which I bought, and it looks different on your screen. Yes, that's better. It's darker than what you just saw, so it's more like this than what it looks like up close. But that's what I'm making, and you should actually see it like that, obviously. If I can show it to you like that. Wow, I don't know what I'm doing with these arms, but you get the point. The pattern is this. It's a free pattern. This is the pattern by Tin Can Knits, and I did make some alterations, so I'm using a smaller size needle. I'm using 4mm, and they tell you to switch to a 5mm. I'm not doing that, so I chose to make a size bigger, so it would fit, hopefully. I don't know, because I don't swatch. I did make a swatch, and I actually never make a swatch because I'm too lazy for that. So, that's it, actually. The yarn I'm using is yarn I bought. So I should actually show this in stash enhancements, because now I'm totally giving away the entire stash enhancement section, but whatever. And it is by Drachenwolle. Can you see that? Well, it's not planning on focusing really good, but you saw that. And the colorway is 104. It's a shame she doesn't use, well, maybe she does use colorway numbers, but it's just on the website. I don't know. And it looks like this. in the skein. And I just liked the way, I just liked having something different. Although I do have to say that I started knitting a featherweight cardigan with this, and I didn't like it. Also because I knew that a cardigan is open, so you have to wear something underneath, and with all the crazy colors I was like, I don't know. I thought it would be best to make something that is closed, also in the front, and so you can wear it on jeans, because these crazy colors would go with jeans, but I don't know. I didn't think wearing something black or gray underneath would look good, and normally I actually wear a lot of black and gray and dark colors, so I don't know. But I'm knitting this sweater out of it now, and I think that works a lot better than the featherweight cardigan. This is what it looks like skeined up, and as you might see, that is a pretty nice skein compared to all the other skeins I made winding by hand. So I'm going to show you something in the stash enhancement section, but I'm not finished yet. So that's the latest whip you're going to see. But I do have a finished object as well, or at least almost finished, and that is this super cute, super mini tiny cardigan for our baby boy, because I thought he needs something like a jacket or vest, whatever, to wear when we come out of the hospital. And since that will be at the end of June somewhere, the weather will be nice, so he doesn't really need a coat. I think this will be good with just a blanket over it. So I wanted to knit something nice, and I had one ball of 50-gram yarn left, superwash merino, and I don't remember the brand or whatever, but I do remember that I bought it in Germany a while ago, even before I started podcasting, I think. I'm not sure. But I never knew what to do with a ball of yarn. Well, I could make this out of it, and I loosely based it on the Fuss-Free Baby Cardigan by Louise Tilbrook. The only thing I did different is that I totally knit it in garter stitch, and I made long sleeves, and I only used the stitch count for the top, and then I just did something different along the rest of the cardigan, and I rolled up the sleeves because I think that looks really cute. So in a mint green color, which I think is really nice for a baby. And you can see that the wall behind me is kind of grayish mint green as well, and that's the color we chose for our bedroom and the baby room, the nursery. And I will show you the nursery later on, not in this episode, but because we still need some things to, I don't know, it's nice to look forward to something, right? And since I was talking about baby knitting, I thought I would bring this one. I think I already showed this to you, this baby vest, which is a size bigger. And I did not finish this yet, but I just wanted to show you that I did not do a thing on it. I don't know why I'm showing you this. Maybe because then you have an idea of what I'm making for the baby, because this is a vest. You just saw this one. Whoa, hello camera. You just saw this one, and then I have the sweater I'm working on, which is in the biggest size. And I am planning on, I already bought the yarn, didn't bring it with me here to show you, but I am already also planning on knitting him a autumn jacket. I bought this pretty thick merino wool, and I'm planning on knitting that pretty tight with maybe a hood in blue, a little bit of mixed blue, heathery blue, and knit him a coat-ish thing out of it, which I think could be really nice if we go outside. Then acquisitions. Well, you already saw this yarn, so I don't really have to mention that again. And the only other thing that I bought, well, I did buy some drops yarn, but I didn't bring it with me. It was the yarn to knit Seep sweater out of, and the socks you already saw. But what I also bought, and I'm really glad I finally did this, is this new yarn winder. And I think this is a lot like the yarn winder the Stanwood Needlecraft everyone's talking about. This is not by Stanwood because that comes from the US and the shipping was high and stuff. And I just did not have the financial possibilities to get that. But this one actually works the same. So this thing doesn't really spin to wind the yarn, but there are these hooks going around it, and I don't remember the name of how you call this, because that's the story of this episode, or actually the upcoming episodes. I don't know if this will ever go away, so and it works. Finally, I have a yarn winder that works. So I'm really happy with this, and this is an Opry, O-P-R-Y, and then the big. They have several, but this is the biggest. So the jumbo, I think they call it, and it works great. And it only cost me, I think, 45 or 50 euros, which is, it's still a reasonable amount of money for being able to wind yarn. But if you compare it to other winders that are like this, I'm sorry, I didn't bring any water, so this is what happens. If you compare it to other ones that work like this, like the Stanwood Needlecraft one, which is around $90, $100, I think it's a really nice price. So that's that. I'm looking around. Then I did dye some wool again, some yarn again. Obviously, I couldn't dye for a pretty long time because we didn't have a kitchen, and you need a kitchen for that. I only didn't bring the yarn to show you, which is kind of stupid, but since I'm totally not looking forward to going downstairs and stuff again, I am going to save that for next week and show you then, because I will not be able to do a shop update before we leave for Berlin. So it's actually not that bad to show you next week, because then I will be able to do a shop update. And I have to add to that I am planning on podcasting every week from now on until someday the baby gets born, obviously, and I will be away for a little while again. I don't know how long that will take, but that will be at least a few weeks, of course. And then we'll see, and then maybe you can meet our little baby boy. There is one other thing I want to show you, because I have been knitting like a mad dog. That's what you do when you're at home. I am designing stuff again, and the first thing I designed, or actually the thing I want to release as the first design, is a new shawl. So I'm just going to show you. This is it. It's a round shaped shawl. Also in a minty green color. This is a new colorway that I will show you next week as well, but you can already see it right now, which is called Moroccan Mint. And well, it's a tonal colorway with all these different tones of minty green with a touch of gray. And this is the shawl. And I am really happy with the shawl. I think it looks great. I did block it different than it should have been blocked, because I didn't have enough pins. I don't know where all my other pins are, because when you move, you probably know that you lose almost everything you have. So I'm still looking for those. But so I blocked every other picot. So imagine there are the picots are a little bit smaller, and well, twice as much as you can see right now. So they are not as big actually as they look now. I'm going to show you a little bit better. And then the other edge, and obviously you see that I still have to weave in the ends. And I think this will be really great to, I don't know, I think I'm going to take it with me to Berlin, just to accessorize my outfits a little. I am also going to make a bigger version of this. This is the 1 skein version, which you can easily knit out of 1 skein of yarn, or at least my yarn, the Zazu yarns. And I'm also going to make another one that is bigger with a contrasting border. But I might already release the smaller version pattern and then later add the big one. That being said, I only think there's one thing left for me to ask you guys, and that is, oh, I was checking if it was still recording, and that is, as I already mentioned, we are leaving for Berlin tomorrow, and obviously I need to buy some yarn over there. Come on. So do you know nice shops, nice yarn shops to visit in Berlin? I did already Google and I found some, but I don't know which ones are good. And since I'm not really mobile, I cannot just go around the entire city checking every yarn shop there is. So please, if you know a good yarn shop in Berlin, please let me know by I don't know, through Ravelry, preferably through Ravelry, but you can also, or Instagram, or leave a comment below this video, but preferably through Instagram or Ravelry, because those I can check better on my phone. So that's actually it, I guess. I have the feeling there was something else I wanted to say, but that's probably because I have that feeling all the time. I will be in Berlin until Sunday, so if you watch this later, say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you have tips, please just let me know, because I will be leaving Sunday after brunch, breakfast, lunch, whatever. So I will have time to check out your tip. And then that's it, I guess. Oh, no, there's still one thing. There were a few people that messaged me and asked me if I could show my belly. And I'm like, why not? Right? So for those of you who wanted to see that, I'm going to show my belly, because it's part of the whole pregnancy thing. I do have to get up, and I behave like an old lady nowadays, so please bear with me. But, oops, this is the belly. I'm trying to show you a little bit better. As you can see, it's... Let me check if I can do like this. Yes. Hello! Here it is. So, it's kind of big. Which is what it should be by now. But this is what I look like right now. So, the big belly woman. So, that's really it for today. I hope I will all see you again next week. I will probably upload again on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, at least at the beginning of the week. And I hope you all have a really great week, and see you next week. Bye!